Yeah, so comfortable seated position, closing the eyes, taking one big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, almost as if to say goodbye to 2020. And resume with a closed mouth, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Start to notice the space between each of your vertebrae. Maybe noticing if they feel a little compressed against each other, or whether you can bring a little bit of space in between them with every breath in. Beginning to feel upon each breath in, like you're giving yourself a little more height. Like each vertebrae is hovering over the next, one at a time, until you can feel your skull hovering like a balloon over the top vertebrae, pulling your entire spine up toward the ceiling. Maybe internally you can even visualize a soft bobbing motion, like if your head really was a balloon, helping you leave your back longer, stand taller, making sure that you don't lose the breath. You continue to use the breath to elongate. And with the next breath in, completely filling your belly, feeling the pull of air downwards toward the floor in order to expand your belly open. And breathing out, compressing the belly button in toward the back of your spine, pressing the breath up and out. Continuing to breathe. Feeling your heart starting to open. Maybe feeling your chin lifting ever so slightly, shoulders relaxing down. Relaxing the muscles in your face with the next couple of breaths in. Slowly starting to scan from the crown of your head down your body with each breath. Noticing any places that you want to bring a little bit more breath or call some attention to. Maybe noticing any areas where the blood feels compressed, maybe where your knee is bent. Giving a little space, a little breath there, with any places of discomfort. Continuing with the focus on the breath. Sitting in silence for a couple of minutes. Awakening the body by continuing to create space and preparing for your practice. Take about 5 more deep breaths in, elongating the breath. Maybe taking the breath in for 4 counts if you were breathing in for 3. And trying to focus on extending the breath to be just a bit longer than the breath in. Taking one more deep breath in through the nose. Lift the chin slightly. Breathe out, fluttering the eyes open. And look up. As we transition, you might want to take your hands back behind you and just kind of open your chest up. Gently press into the floor, opening the chest. Breathing in. And then breathing out, come into our first position, deer. So you'll bring your right shin parallel to the top of your mat, foot flexed, aligning your hips as squarely as you can, and then extending your left leg out perpendicularly from your body with your left shin at a 90-degree angle, so you look like a pinwheel. Putting the weight a little bit more into your right hip. Slowly shift towards your right thigh. Breathing in, feeling a bit of a stretch through your right side body. Maybe placing your left hand on your right knee. And if this feels good, you can stay here for the next couple of minutes, or you can fold forward all the way, laying on your leg, or maybe placing your head on the ground or on your hands. You could also bring a pillow or a block under your head. Taking a nice deep breath in. Once you've found your most comfortable positioning, and then a deep breath out, releasing. Maybe making an effort in this posture to visualize yourself slowly, effortlessly melting into the floor with every breath out. Deepen your breath, taking a few more deep breaths here. And on your next breath out, slowly press your hands into the ground, wherever you are, pressing up if you were folded forward, and then rotate in toward the center, rotating your hips, or rather sinking your weight back onto your hips, bringing your left leg around, placing the left foot, sole of the foot on the inside of your right thigh, extending that right leg out and coming into a forward fold over one leg, right leg hamstring stretch. Finding a place where you have a nice stretch that you can hold for the next minute and a half or so, and then releasing the head and neck down. being attentive to any pain or soreness with springs and maybe adjusting if it feels better to pull off a little bit, just letting your head hang. Take one more deep breath in and gently press yourself back up, this time shifting your weight to the left hip and coming into deer on the left side. Left shin parallel, putting your weight into your left hip in order to allow yourself to position your right leg so that it's perpendicular, and then shifting as much weight back into your right hip as you can to square the hips, rotating the torso to the left and folding forward over that left thigh if that feels good, or just staying here, finding stillness, maybe closing the eyes, focusing in on the breath and creating that space still. Breathing into a nice deep hip stretch on your outer hip, your outer glute. Taking a moment to take a really extra deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose, melting a little deeper. One more deep breath, and on the breath out, press your hands into the floor to press up if you're folded forward. Coming back to center, leaning back on your hips, bringing that right sole of the foot to meet the inside of your left leg, and finding a nice comfortable position to fold forward over that left leg, finding a nice stretch in the left hamstring. Letting your head release all the way forward. Looks good. Expand with your next breath in. With your next breath out, try to notice any muscles that you're holding tenser and just release them. Maybe sinking a little deeper and doing so. Take one more deep breath in, and breathing out, press yourself slowly back up. Stretching anything else out, counter stretching in any way that feels good before coming down onto your left side, left arm extended over your head, palm against the ground. And slowly you'll take your under leg, your left leg, you'll bend your knee, reaching back, reaching for your foot, grabbing your foot in any way that you can. You can adjust your legs as necessary to make that happen. And then bring that right foot forward if that feels good. Lowering your back all the way down or staying lifted up if that's a little easier. Propping yourself onto your left arm. Otherwise, you can lay down, maybe bring that left arm to your side, twist to the right. This cat pulling its tail. Taking a deep breath in, and on the breath out, releasing anything that needs to be released in your body. Breathe in, finding a little extra space in your spine and your back. And breathe out, releasing your glutes, releasing anything that's tensed up, maybe your thigh muscle or your kneecap. Take a few more deep breaths. And slowly releasing your foot, bringing your legs back together, roll onto your back, extending your arms over your head, maybe taking your left heel a little bit to the left, and then placing your right foot and crossing it, ankles, over the left. So they're both a little to your left. Taking your left arm, putting it a little to your left, and then crossing your right wrist over your left wrist. So you're in a banana shape. You're curved to the left like a crescent moon or a banana. Just gently stretching the right side body. And deep breath in and deep breath out, releasing. Take a few more deep breaths. Slowly, slowly unwind and roll onto your right side in order to take cat pulling its tail on the right. This time, bending your right foot, grabbing it behind you, and extending your left foot forward a bit. Whatever it takes to feel a nice stretch where you need it. Maybe reclining down all the way and twisting to the left. Take about 5 more deep breaths here. Remembering our theme of the day of always creating space with the breath in, releasing tension with the breath out. On the next breath out, let go of your foot, extend the legs, and roll onto your back. Coming into banana on the right side, this time taking your feet crossed left over right, arms crossed left over right, arching to the right into a banana shape. Take one more deep breath in. And on the breath out, come back center, starting to walk your feet up. Soles of the feet flat on the floor, lifting the legs, placing the palms behind the thighs, maybe rocking side to side for a moment just to give yourself a nice little back massage. And then switching directions, rocking front and back, rock and rolling yourself up to seated, and then moving through seated into your hands and knees. Taking a deep breath in, arching your back, pulling the belly button down toward the floor, opening the chest toward the front wall, lifting the chin slightly, coming into cow. Feeling a slight amount of engagement in your abdominal muscles, but also a deep stretch in your deeper abdominals. On your next breath out, slowly start to peel your belly button up and in, away from the floor, toward the sky, arching your back up into cat, feeling expansion through your rib cage, maybe moving around slightly to find the spaces where you can bring your breath. And on the next breath in, arching back into cat. Now moving with your breath. Sorry, I meant arching into cow. And then breathing out, coming into cat, moving with your breath now, breathing into cow, breathing out, coming into cat. Starting to move your body in a way that feels good. Starting to introduce a little more movement after we've just completed the yin portion of class, and now we're moving into more of a flow, preparing to link our breath with our movement more. Just move in an unprogrammed way that feels good. Maybe circling the hips, or moving in a wave. Doing this for about a minute more. On your next breath out, come into a neutral hands and knees position. Slowly walk the hands forward, starting to feel the chest opening, melting into puppy pose, keeping the hips where they are, straight above the knees, holding the chest toward the floor, feeling a nice opening stretch through the chest, maybe through the front of your arms. Resting the forehead on the floor if you've reached that far, or maybe propping your elbows up and just supporting yourself if that's as far as you can go. Taking a few deep breaths. On your next breath out, pressing back through tabletop into downward facing dog. Really stretching through the toes as you stretch into your first downward facing dog. Maybe walking the feet out a little bit. Introducing movement to the legs. Feeling the blood starting to rush through the legs. Pulling the hips up toward the ceiling. Feeling expansiveness across the upper back. Letting the head hang freely, and then coming to a stillness for just a moment. Engaging the abdominal muscles, feeling a nice stretch in the hamstrings. Straightening those knees as much as you can. And shifting the weight onto the left foot. Lift your right foot, your right leg up behind you, three-legged dog, as far as you can. Breathing in. Breathing out, bring that knee to your nose. Breathing in, extend it back out. Breathing out, bring that knee toward your left elbow. Holding it there. Breathing in, pull the knee toward the outside or your right elbow, opening up the entire leg. Breathing out once more. Pull the knee toward the left elbow. Breathing in, extend it back up. This time, breathing out, pull the knee all the way through, placing the right foot down on the ground. Looking down below you and behind you, looking at that back foot, lowering the left foot down so that your front foot bisects it. Slowly opening up your body to the side. Right arm still on the ground. Just feeling your body opening up. Left arm starts to open all the way, and then almost as though you're pulling a rope on the wall behind you, you pull yourself up, coming into warrior two. Maybe sinking a little deeper over that front knee, maybe opening your stance, making sure that your knee isn't going over your ankle, finding breadth across your chest, making sure your arms are at the same level, engaging your abdominal muscles, squaring your hips to the side and gazing forward. Continuing to breathe. Taking a deep breath in, lift everything up, opening your feet outwards, stretching everything open, and lower into warrior two on the left side, facing the back of your mat. Once again, finding your positioning in this posture, finding strength and stability. Breathing in, open up again into horse, bending the knees into a wide-legged squat or horse. You can kind of wiggle back and forth, get a little bit of a stretch going. Maybe push one shoulder down at a time. Do that again. Feels so good. Pushing the right shoulder forward, feeling a nice stretch through the back. On the left shoulder forward. Breathing in, lifting back up into warrior two, facing the front of your mat once more. Reaching forward, fingertips pulling toward the front wall, then pull them down toward the earth. Extended side angle, leaving space between your body and your front leg, just extending and tilting that torso forward. Extending your gaze down toward the ground, look toward your front foot as if you're going to take your left foot and step toward it, and then go ahead and do that. Stepping into a squat, maybe stepping your right leg out a little bit further. Taking a deep breath in a wide-legged deep squat, extending the spine long, breathing in, standing up, walking the feet together, coming into mountain. Breathing in, arms up and overhead. And breathing out, bring them down, lifting the right leg up into one-legged Savasana. If you can take your fingers on your toes, or you can just lift the outside of your right thigh and keep your leg bent or straighten it. Twisting your body to the right, one-legged Tadasana. You can just lift your knee up if that feels better. And the next breath out. Sinking the hips back and down, coming into standing figure four. Feeling release with every breath out. On your next breath out, lower that leg to the floor. And then slowly sinking that same leg, the right foot back, step into high lunge, twisted to the left. Left arm extended up to the sky. Feeling a nice deep stretch through that right hip. And then bringing the left arm back around, circling down, stepping that left leg back into lunge. I'm sorry, this isn't lunge. This This is plank pose. Stepping back into plank pose. Take a deep breath. Either with your knees straight or keeping them on the ground. One push-up. Kind of firing everything up. Trying to keep everything in one piece as much as possible. And on the next breath out, coming into chaturanga with your knees up or down. Pressing into upward facing dog or cobra. Lowering everything down to the floor, face down. Hands under your shoulders. One more cobra. That's what you did. Breathing in, opening the chest. Feeling your abdominal muscles engaged. And breathing out, lowering down. One more time. Deep breath in. Cobra. Fullest expression. Keeping those abdominal muscles engaged so that you're protecting your lower spine. Lowering back down, pressing through tabletop. Coming into downward facing dog, repeating on your left. Deep breath in, left leg high behind you. Knee to the nose. Breathing in, left leg extends behind you. Breathing out, knee to the right elbow. Breathing in, knee to the left elbow. Breathing out, knee to the right elbow. Leg extends long behind you. Knee to the nose and then step it down. Coming into Warrior Two by way of a very slow opening to the front. Extending that right arm. Tracing it across the sky like a rainbow and pulling yourself up into Warrior Two. Finding your deepest expression of the posture, sinking the hips deeper, squaring them to the front. And gazing at your front fingers. On the next breath in, everything lifts up to the sky, moving through, of course, into Warrior Two, to the right, to the back of your mat. Deep breath in, everything opens up. This time folding forward, flat back, toes pointed in a little bit, wide-legged forward fold. Maybe moving from leg to leg, stretching your right leg first, feeling a nice deeper stretch kind of on the outside of your leg this time. And walking your hands over, doing the same on your left. Walking your hands back to the center. Arms out on either side of you, maintaining a straight back. Come up, flat back, one piece. Shifting your feet, coming into Warrior Two to the front of your mat once again. This time bringing the arms forward, sinking into extended side angle. Same feet positioning, just tilting your torso to the left. Arms extended wide. Feeling breath, filling your chest, opening your heart. And then gazing down toward your front foot. Visualize yourself stepping forward, right foot to meet the left, and then do it. Coming into a deep squat, maybe stepping wider with your left foot. Really engaging your abdominal muscles here to elongate the spine and sink even deeper. Reaching your heels towards the earth, opening your knees as much as you can. Breathing in, pulling yourself up, hands in prayer position. Walking the feet in toward one another. Mountain pose. This time shifting the weight to the right leg, coming into one-legged Tadasana on the left. Doing whatever you did on the right side, maybe twisting with your knee bent, holding your thigh. Or grabbing your big toe with your 2 fingers, extending long and twisting to the left. Every breath in, extending everything longer, reaching further, feeling more space. With every breath out, releasing deeper into the stretch. Breathing out, coming into standing figure 4, sinking the hips back. Next breath out, releasing everything down. Then taking that left foot and stepping it back into lunge on the right side. Lifting the right arm up, coming into a twist. And on the next breath out, circling the arms back down, stepping into plank. Holding for a moment. Taking a few deep breaths in, just really feeling your abdominal muscles work here, strengthening your whole body. Feeling your arms rotating outwards, elbows inwards. On your next breath out, take one push-up, knees down or lifted. And then on your next breath out, Surya Namaskar, Chaturanga, Cobra or Up Dog, coming into Child's Pose, where we'll take a few deep breaths together. On your next breath out, press into downward facing dog. We'll do a condensed version of that. Same sequence. Deep breath in. Right leg lifts up, 3-legged dog. This time bending the knee, opening the hips a little bit. Maybe feeling a nice opening through your right oblique muscles too. Squaring that right shoulder forward, down toward the ground. And then extending the right leg straight, pulling the knee in, stepping into Warrior 2. And breathing in, everything opens up. And breathing out, Warrior 2 to the back. One breath here. Breathe in, everything opens up. Warrior 2 to the front. Deep breath in, extending forward into extended side angle. This time looking forward, step into chair pose or Utkatasana with your feet together. And then stepping the right leg back. Come into lunge, hands in prayer pose, twisting to the left. Maybe putting your right elbow on your left knee. Give yourself a little bit deeper of a twist and a stretch. And on the breath out, rotating forward, stepping back into plank. Surya Namaskar. And pressing back into downward facing dog. Same thing on the left. The left foot reaches up and back. Opening up the hip this time, maybe bending the knee and feeling a nice deep stretch. Breathing in, extending the leg, pulling the knee in, place it down, coming into Warrior 2. One breath here. Breathing in, open everything up. Breathing out, sinking into Warrior 2 to the back. One breath here. Open everything up. Sinking back into Warrior 2, facing the front wall. On the next breath in, reaching forward into extended side angle. Looking down at the ground, step your right foot forward to meet your left into chair pose. And And then extending the left foot back into a high lunge, hands into prayer position, twist to the right. Maybe using that elbow, give yourself a little more leverage, pulling the spine longer with every breath in. Breathing out, palms to the floor, stepping back into plank, chaturanga, cobra or up dog, and back into child's pose, just for a couple of breaths. Really actively walking those hands forward, feeling a nice stretch in your underarms and side body. And coming out of child's pose, rocking forward, bring your right shin as close to parallel as you can, placing it down on the mat and positioning yourself to come into pigeon. We'll do pigeon prep, and then whatever variation of pigeon you like best. So I like to bring a pillow underneath my right hip because I'm not flush to the floor. Looking behind you, make sure that your left foot is straight behind you. Make sure there's no pressure on your knee and that your shin and your foot are positioned however makes that happen for you. Squaring the hips, pressing the hands into the floor. Feel maybe your right hip shifting back a little bit toward the back wall. With the breath out, shift a little bit further, sinking down into the hips. With every breath in, you try and position yourself a little bit more to the form that feels right, or you feel a deeper twist. And with the breath out, you release deeper into that position. When you're comfortable, go ahead and either walk the hands forward, or you can arch your back, lifting up, whatever feels best right now. Giving yourself a couple moments in pigeon to really feel a deep stretch. You're folded forward, slowly start to press yourself up. You can stay there if you want. If it's within your practice, bend your back leg, reaching toward that back foot, and start to feel a nice stretch in your quad. Maybe scissoring your hips a little bit, bringing them tighter together in order to do this. And eventually hooking your foot into your elbow. This is one variation that you can work towards. Otherwise, just go ahead and stay forward, folded forward, or however you like in this position. I can feel a lot of resistance in my quads, so I'm working on really with every breath out, just sending release and letting my muscle relax a little bit deeper. With the breath in, sending space to those tendons, connective tissues, allowing them to space out, at least as a visualization, if that's not actually how it happens anatomically. And release with the breath out. Doing whatever you need to slowly come onto the other side. You might need to wiggle your legs out. Coming into pigeon on the left. I'm going to be quiet and let you really enjoy this, and I will cue you when it's time to come into the quad stretch or king pigeon. Taking a deep breath in wherever you are. Start to press up and bend that back knee, otherwise stay right where you are. Continue enjoying the stretch. On the next breath out, slowly, slowly release. Circling the leg back to meet the front. Maybe doing a little bit of windshield wipering, massaging your booty on the ground, whatever feels good. And keeping your feet flat on the floor, come back onto your forearms, propping yourself up on them. Knees are lifted. Slowly extend your left leg forward and your right leg engaging the abs up straight toward the sky. And proceed to switch. Some little ab exercises for your Saturday morning. Let's do 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we can do little bicycles. Knee in, other leg extended out. Make sure here that you're really engaging the abdominal muscles and keeping your lower back protected. It's not dipping down. And if your hips hurt at all, you can always bring them higher up in whatever you're doing. 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming back up a little bit, feet flat on the floor. Coming back so that you're in a V, your torso and your legs. And you can either bring your legs up, holding in the back of your thighs, knees bent, or straighten, holding in boat for 8 counts. Four, 3, 2, 1. And release everything down. I don't know if you can see on the video, I was shaking just now. Walking the heels towards your booty. Slowly come up, pressing into the palms of your hands, into a bridge, making sure those thighs remain engaged. Your knees stay toward each other on the train tracks, not splayed apart. So it feels good. You can clasp the hands underneath you, walk the shoulders, shimmying them together to give you a little more stability. Just holding here. Breathing in deeply and breathing out. Feeling everything engaged. And release. Pulling the knees in, giving yourself a hug. Rocking back and forth. And then grabbing the feet, the soles of the feet, or maybe the undersides of your thighs, pulling your knees down toward the ground on either side of you, coming into happy baby. Taking a few more deep breaths, winding down, gearing up for savasana. Take a few more deep breaths here. And slowly release, extending your legs, extending your arms, doing whatever feels best to allow you to fully release and melt into the floor. Enjoying this last savasana, this last resting pose of your class. Breathing naturally in and out through the nose. Sending space and deep relaxation to every muscle. again to deepen your breath. Coming into your senses. Breathing life into your limbs, your fingers, and your toes. Stretching your arms up over your head, clasping your hands together. Give yourself a nice big morning stretch. And then roll to the right side, taking a couple moments to take a few deep breaths. Maybe pressing your left hand into the earth to feel a deeper connection. And on your next breath out, slowly push yourself up, eyes still closed, to face the front of the room. Coming into a comfortable seated position, hands in prayer position in front of you. Take a few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the nose, very intentional. Locking in your practice with every breath in, releasing anything else that you don't need with you, with your breath out. And taking one last forced big breath in together, breathing out through the nose. Closing the mouth, breathing naturally, dipping the chin slightly. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you guys so much.